guys, welcome to the series where we're going to finish all 102 series on my bookshelves. Excuse you, we're in the middle of something. These are all the series that I have not finished or am in the middle of. Let's get into it. Yes, you did hear that correctly. I do have 102 series that I am currently in the middle of or have not started. And today we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to get a handle on it. You may be wondering, how did I acquire 102 series on my shelves? And that's quite easy. I used to work at Barnes & Noble and they give you a pretty decent discount. So I was just buying books left and right because I was just getting into reading books. Plus being around a lot of people that also enjoy reading books, you're getting recommendations every day, multiple times a day. So I felt the need to buy all of the series that got super popular while I was either in middle school or early high school. Two of those, for example, are going to be The Cruel Prince by Holly Black and The Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. These are both very highly spoken of series. I do know a little bit about both of them. I do think I will enjoy both of them, but I just have not picked them up because I have been reading all of the new releases since I have bought them. And that's kind of the issue with all of these series, is that I'm just reading newer series that I acquire. So to kick off this start of the series for my channel, I figured today we would go ahead and let a Wheel of Fate decide what series we're going to be reading for the week, and we will go from there. Hi, from my floor. So apparently the house, excuse you. Hello again. So this is my shelf of maybe I will get rid of these books if I don't read them by the end of the year. And apparently House just happens to be The House of Marone by J.L. From my understanding, is essentially a young adult romantasy where a girl has been hiding with her mother because she has magic and she is tutoring, and I believe starts to fall in love with the tutor, but she probably also starts to fall in love with the bad guy. I'm really not for sure. I only have the first book of this. The second book has been released, but I have not bought it. The third book is not even out yet. So I believe we will also spin for a second series and see what we get. All right, guys, so the second book we spun for is The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. I would have enjoyed reading the Dance of Thieves duology first. I also have the Kiss of Deception trilogy, which takes place before the duology, and I haven't picked them up yet. I've kind of just been overlooking them with all the new releases that I'm picking up. I am still excited to get into this one. I really don't know much about it, so I'm kind of going into it blind, which is exciting. I know this is her first adult release and the other two are YA. So I am excited to see how she is an adult versus young adult. So we have our two reads for the week. I am excited to get into these. Honestly, I'm kind of going into both of them blind because I'm really not for sure what either one of them is truly about. And with these being the start of two series that have not been finished, it would knock two whole series off of my actual TBR if I don't enjoy them. And if I do enjoy them, I am at least caught up in both of the series. I will let you know at the end of the week how I'm feeling about both of these. Alright guys, so I'm about 70 pages into The Courting of Bristol Keats. So far, not too much has happened. We've found out a little bit about her family history and where her father possibly has spent some time. I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to like give out spoilers or anything. We have met, I believe, the male main character, and we are getting ready to go to the Feyland. So very excited for that. And I think things are getting ready to start picking up pretty quickly, hopefully. Because so far, the first like 50 pages drug on. The last 20 has been okay, where she's actually like met and started talking with Tygan. We will keep going and I will keep you updated. I forgot to mention, it's been the perfect reading weather. It has been raining all day. I could not ask for a cozier little book to read, honestly. Good morning, guys. So I Stayed up until 1 a.m. getting to page 291 in The Courting of Bristol Keats. And I have to say, I did not anticipate to like this book as much as I do. The way that I consumed this last night, could not put it down. I kind of figured out like everyone's like character dynamic by like page maybe like 150. There's a reveal that happens and you're like, oh, okay. So you kind of know like everyone's place as far as like the story goes. But I still cannot figure out how this is going to end. Hopefully with a good ending. Or at least with an ending that I want. I do want to read something to you guys because it was absolutely hilarious. It like actually had me laughing out loud last night. And I even had to send a screenshot of it to my friend because I thought it was honestly just very, very funny. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. So the scene is they are out looking for her father at a little tavern. And it is just Bristol and Tigan. And this is the passage that I absolutely found hilarious. She remained silent, sopping up the juices of the meat with a crusty slice of bread. But then her hand just hovered over her plate, the juices dripping. Her gaze shut up. Why is my naked body the last thing you ever want to see? Is it only me, or do you find all my kind repulsive? Or maybe it's just the bright of day that's the problem. When it's easy to see every ugly detail, you make a point to step away and make Coley help me up on my horse. The question punched Tigan like a fist, and his mouth fell open. A patron at the next table dropped his spoon into his stew bowl. You don't want to see her naked? What's the matter with you, boy? I'd take an eyeful of that pretty little thing. What? Excuse you, sir. Tigan shot him a glare that was just short of piercing his skull. The man returned his attention to the stew. Tigan leaned forward, lowering his voice. I said that to reassure you I would never spy on you in your private chambers. I don't find your naked body repulsive at all. That is, if I had ever seen it. He cleared his throat and added, which I haven't. The patron at the next table scooped another spoonful of stew into his mouth, and at the risk of his life said, if I were you, I'd fix that situation. That was just chef's kiss, honestly. That might have just sealed this book to be a 5-star book. Like, I really enjoyed it. I was kind of concerned the last time we spoke just because I wasn't for sure where the story was going. And I'm still really not, but I'm okay with learning. I'm excited for the ending at this point, which kind of scares me because I'm scared that I'm not emotionally going to be okay after the end of the story. That's where we're at right now. I think we can actually finish this today. We're a little over halfway in, so I think it'll be good. Also, look at these. These are gorgeous. This is a gorgeous little book. Alright guys, so I just finished The Courting of Bristol Keats. I can definitely say that this is going to be a 5-star read for me. I will definitely be pre-ordering the second book, and I will kind of go into more details on my thoughts about the actual book itself whenever I finish the second one, which, speaking of the second one, we are supposed to be reading The House of Marone. I, however, went and picked up the next book in the Assistant to the Villain series. So we're just gonna be pushing that one back a little more because I am much more excited to get into this. This has been one of my anticipated releases for this year since last year. So I am definitely going to be reading this and probably finishing it today. I am very excited for it. And I was looking on Goodreads and it looks like there's a 4th one coming out. So now I know I'm gonna have to wait another year to continue the story. Okay guys, I have finished The Courting of Bristol Keats, and may I say, this book was chef's kiss. I truly enjoyed this, and I did not think that I would based off of the first 50 pages. It was a little slow to start. After like around page 80, it really picked up and I was able to finish it in like 2 days just because I really couldn't put it down. I am interested to see how she finishes this series actually, just because there are so many loose ends in this book that you have seen start to kind of come to an end or really are just now unraveling and you're like, oh, how is this going to end? The writing is kind of dual POV, which I really enjoy. You get to see a little bit of Bristol's thoughts and you get to see Tigan's thoughts. And it kind of switches in between throughout the story, and I personally really like that because that tends to keep me more engaged throughout the reading. You may not like it. It's not super obvious where it's like a chapter labeled with that character's name. It's more of just a time skip. Throughout the books, there's the little lock image, and that usually signifies that there's been a change between what POV you're currently getting. And then the second book that we read this week was The Accomplice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. I love this series. This book, however, was not my favorite. I do believe that the second in the series is actually my favorite book. Like I said earlier, I did learn that there is a fourth one coming out, and you definitely get not a cliffhanger, but it definitely is going to become like a new story based off of the ending of this one. I don't want to go too much into it because it is still a pretty new release and some people may not have been able to finish it yet or even pick it up yet. I did enjoy it. I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars. It was still good. I just found it kind of dragging on 3/4 of the way through. There's a lot happening in this book. They actually finally have a moment together, which has not happened within the first two. I was waiting for it. The slowest of slow burns so far that I have read. It is also dual POV. This one is actually labeled the character's name whenever it changes. And you do get a lot more characters in this book than you do in the other two, which I did enjoy. I liked seeing multiple characters' point of view at multiple different times because you have several missions going on in this book at once, and you kind of get to see where everyone is along their progression of their own mission. So these were the two books that we read this week. 5-star and a 4.5 star. I don't think that's bad. Next week we will be continuing the series just because I'm not for sure what I want to read still. And with ending these two, we have officially knocked 2 series off of my TBR. So we are now down to 100 until the second book of this comes out. Have a good day.